What was the motivation? Did she say something?
Yeah, she wanted me to have weight loss surgery.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, no. And she's all about surgery, and I'm not about that. So
Yeah.
that was my main drive. But then it just kind of took off. And
So
then
you, let me get this straight. Like did you take like personal offense to it in a way? You're like,
a little bit for
I'm
sure.
going to prove you wrong. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
don't
That
have to
was
go
my
that route.
my for sure. Was like, I'm going to prove you wrong that I don't need a surgery to fix this.
Hmm.
So,
Well, and I feel like a lot of people will go that route, and I'm not sure if it's truly successful for, most of the people that end up getting the surgery, because you're not really changing the habits. You're not really changing your discipline. And so, like,
right.
how many people get the surgery and then after it's all said and done, then a lot of that weight will come back.
Uh-huh.
And you did it the hard route,
Right.
the
Right.
long term.
Yeah.
So, for everybody that is just rolling in, because we didn't do like a formal introduction, we are back here on Nurture the Mind, my podcast. Now, normally I do music reactions or I will do like a solo podcast, but today I am greeted with a former client from Anytime Fitness. A lot of you guys know I'm also a personal trainer. That's like my full-time gig. So right here we have Kendra Garcia, and we are going to start talking about her weight loss journey. Obviously, right there you got a little snippet of like how it all started. Hopefully we'll go like in depth and get all of the layers. So how much weight in total have you lost
A hun-
throughout your journey?
120 pounds.
120. Holy shit. My goodness, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's like
So
a human,
yeah,
you know?
that's like a whole ass person right
Yeah.
there. So you were talking about what got you started. That was like the spark.
Yeah.
That was like the initial fuel. What kept you motivated throughout the process? Because I'm assuming if you're going to lose 120 pounds, that's not going to happen in.
I think seeing the progress, and just feeling better about myself and building that confidence, because I let myself go to be a mom, and that was my identity. So, and I'm still to this day trying to figure out who I am,
Mhm.
you know, after all of that.
Do you think after losing all of that weight, has that gotten you closer to who you're trying to figure out who you're trying to become?
I think it's a step closer for sure. Yeah.
What what is left in your mind? Maybe that's a hard question to answer, but like losing all of this weight and getting a step closer, what do you feel like you still have to figure out
Well,
or say like overcome?
I mean, it's a lifestyle change. It's not just like, I still have to put in the work with food, and because I could sit and eat a tub of peanut butter or Nutella, like that is my weakness. But I have to limit myself. But yeah, it's a lifestyle change, and I just I'm still on this path of trying to figure it out.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, which kind of gives me inspiration, because I had been telling you like recently, like over text, how I felt super lost in
mhm,
life and maybe feeling like I had regressed in a lot of different ways. And I mean, you're a little bit older than me.
right.
And like when I talk to people that are older, like even into their 50s and 60s, and it's always like this common thing of people saying, like, dude, like I'm still trying to figure out
Uh-huh.
aspects of my life. And yet I put so much pressure on myself at 28, almost 29 years old to have everything figured
Uh-huh.
out. I used to do that even when I was younger, like in my
Sure.
early 20s. And so it's encouraging to hear those words and to know that, like, hey, there are a lot of other people out
Mhm.
there,
That feel
that,
the same way.
yeah, that are still trying
Yeah.
to find that identity, and maybe they're a little bit further along the path. And I bet for you, just knowing like your personal story with weight loss, but then some of like the personal details about your life, like going through a divorce, because, for the longest time, you were a stay-at-home mom,
Uh-huh.
and then you had to make that transition of, okay, now I got to go back into the workforce. So like
Uh-huh.
that was probably hard,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, and I'm still like I work for the school district, so end of May, I'm not going to have a job for 3 months.
Hmm.
So trying to figure that out, I'm like, ah. So, yeah, it's all a work in progress.
Mm-hmm. Do you think with where you're at now, do you feel like it gets easier with age? Like, what perspective can you give to me as I am about ready to enter my 30s? Because there is this like really big fear that I've had. Actually, on Friday night, I went out on a party bus for my friend Dakota because he just turned 30.
Uh-huh.
And we were having like a little bit of a conversation, and he was saying how, he had been fearful for a long time, like approaching 30 as well. And then recently, before his 30th birthday, he had this dream. Basically, the dream was like, gave him this feeling of reassuring him that it's going to be okay. I don't know. There's this weird transition. I feel like as you're in your late 20s and you're going into your early 30s, at least the way that I would describe it is you're you're not old. Like 30 is still really young
Yeah.
if you're healthy, and if you could get like 100 years, you're like, okay, like I'm only one fourth of the way done.
Uh-huh.
But I think reaching 30, you start to realize that you're not getting any younger, right? And
Sure.
there's like this pressure of time, whether it's self-induced, which a lot of it for me is probably self-induced. A lot of it is like societal
Sure.
expectations and like giving into those societal expectations. But you being a little bit older than me, what perspective would you give to somebody that's like entering their 30s? Does it get better with
No.
age?
No. I'd like to say yes, but
Shit.
no. Because I
Damn
remember when I
it.
was 25 and I was having a midlife crisis. I wasn't where I wanted to be at that age. And I wanted to have kids by then. And I had a kid, a year after that, but
Hmm.
that wasn't the plan. And, but that's all I feel like knew at the time because that's what I was raised around. My mom did in-home daycare. She stayed home. And like, that's what I think I thought I wanted. Right. And going back, if I could do it again, I would probably change it.
Hmm.
I probably wouldn't have kids.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. And I say that, but I love my kids, don't get me wrong, but the world that we live in today is not what I want them to be raised in, you know? It's a scary, scary, scary out there. But
Yeah.
I say take it one day at a time and hopefully everything will fall into place.
I think I think it will, just because I have, like a faith in God, but it's certainly still a really big struggle. I feel like probably at many times in one's life, you feel like there's a fork in a road, or you feel like it's a pivotal moment and it's not always clear as to what you're supposed to do next.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like th- there's no defined roadmap, right? Because
Right?
we're all individuals and
Uh-huh.
we're all trying to figure it out for ourselves. And you do have to be careful that when you're in that vulnerable state, because I'm a really curious person, I'm a really inquisitive person, and so I will ask like a bunch of people for their advice
Uh-huh.
or their
Before you make a
opinion and
decision.
their perspective. And like that's good, like it's good to get other people's perspectives, but that can also cloud
You're
one's judgment, but
uh-huh.
also just the inner sense of who you are. Like a lot of times we just stray so far from what we actually want.
Sure.
And then at like the end of the day, you can take all of those opinions, you can take all of that advice, but collectively you got to come to your own conclusion or
Uh-huh.
your own
And what you
understanding. And
want.
that's only going to happen if you like actually sit with yourself and ask yourself those tough questions, which I don't know if enough people do that. And you're
Sure.
right, like this world is completely chaotic. And what makes it even more confusing is just the amount of time that we spend on our
Oh,
phones, on our
sure.
devices.
Yeah.
Like I got rid of TikTok. I'm not on any dating apps right now. I really want to get rid of Facebook. I've always liked Instagram for some
Uh-huh.
reason. I just like interfacing with Instagram, and I'm kind of like on the fence about Snapchat. But I just wonder what it would do to my life if I got rid of all of those distractions. Not to say that I spend a shit ton
Hours.
of time
Yeah.
on my phone, but like all of those things confuse us and
Uh-huh.
obviously just waste our time.
Uh-huh. And you just scroll and scroll and you stay up late. Like I do.
We've all done it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still figuring out. So I'm right there with you.
hmm
It's hard.
What do you, getting back to like the whole health and fitness journey? So, with all of the accomplishments that you've made as far as you've come, what do you want to do next? What's the next goal? Is
Well,
it
my next
just
goal is to run a marathon, a full one, and I'm hoping to do that in October. So we'll see if I can accomplish that. I just want to do one and that's it. And then I'll probably just do like your typical 5Ks, 10Ks
hmm
to just do it. So that is what I'm going for.
yeah. So I know you had said over text that like you hadn't really you've kind of slipped a little bit here recently.
Yeah.
So before like the slip, what have you been doing for your training? Cardio, weight training, mixture of
Well,
both?
I started doing more of a holistic approach and I didn't love that. I felt like it made my sciatic nerve flare up
Mm,
for whatever reason, and that kind of started the decline. And then obviously just life happens, and I just wasn't in a good mental headspace. And then I didn't want to be out, I guess. And so yeah.
it's fair. That's so fair.
So I just kind of stayed home and whatnot, but with time it's getting better, and so now I'm getting back into it. So hopefully I will be able to run the half marathon next weekend
Yeah.
and be good.
Hell yeah.
So
How do you, Kendra, how do you break out of a bad headspace? When you
um,
find yourself in a mental rut, do you have like a go-to protocol or practice that
no,
gets
I
you
think I
out of
just
it?
have to talk to myself. Like it's a lot of self talk in my head, you know what I mean? And doing things that I know will make me feel good and whatnot. So I know running will I always feel so much better after I do it.
hmm
So it's just getting there, you know. But
Yeah, it's extremely hard. I just recently started going back to therapy. I found a therapist that I've gone to now like 5 times in total. We started like at the end of 2025, and then there was like complications with the insurance, and
sure.
like technically she was out of network, so they didn't cover it, and then I had to go to my family doctor and get like a post authorization. So now I can see this lady like it's fully covered, and then they are actually willing to pay those
Oh,
previous 2
nice.
sessions that weren't covered. But I think something that happened, I think one of the reasons why this last year has been challenging back and forth for me is because at the end of 2024, my therapist of 5 years, like she passed away
Oh,
unexpectedly. She was in her 50s, so she was pretty young. And that was somebody that I could just go to like unfiltered. Like we had such a good relationship. And so then for like the last year, it's been like trying out different
uh-huh.
therapists.
It's
And
like dating.
yeah,
Yes.
and we know how hard dating is. It's fucking terrible. And it's still really early. Like we're still
Getting to know one another.
building our relationship and the
Yeah.
rapport and whatnot. But I think something that I realized last year before I really got into therapy, obviously some life challenges as well, and feeling like I had also lost another friendship, and this person is still living. So it was like
Oh,
losing Jen, losing this friend that I could always go to, 2 people in your trusted circle. Now, a
are
lot
not
of the
there.
conversations that you would have to maybe get out of your head, I felt like a lot of those things were now sitting inside and they had nowhere to go.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've done anything like therapy, but for me,
Sure.
because I'm somebody who tends to think pretty deeply, when I get caught in my head, like I need somebody to like talk to and just get those ideas out, bounce off
Could
of.
you talk to a wall? Is that, you know what I mean? Is that a thing? Would that help you? I mean,
Well, there is a therapy practice that my previous therapist told me about. It's kind of just like verbal projecting, right? So like let me give you an example. Like I used to take a bunch of walks outside, and one thing that she would have me do, like if I was in my head or if I was overthinking a situation, I would take a long walk, and not the whole time, but a lot of the time I would like talk out loud.
uh-huh.
Almost like try to problem solve with myself. And
Yeah.
it's amazing how like that can actually it's just the same thing as like writing in your journal.
Sure.
So they say, okay, if you got all these rapid thoughts that are going on, write them out in your journal. Will it completely change the problem? Maybe not, but now it's out of your head and it's
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 on paper.
physically out there. And then when you say it out loud to yourself, you can kind of catch and
Uh-huh.
see how some of these thoughts are just completely absurd.
Yeah.
You
And you
know?
and you can go back and reflect on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And or like another thing is like my previous therapist, she would say, well, record it on your phone,
Uh-huh.
and
And
then
then
you can go
re-listen to it.
back and listen to it, and you can see how crazy you actually
Or if it
sound.
makes sense,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's like the point I'm trying to make is we are wired for social interaction with other
Uh-huh.
human beings, and so now
When
that
that's taken away.
our life has, now we live a lot of our life in the digital means. It's like you almost have to be more thoughtful about that, and you have to try and find ways. I don't know, maybe you have like a bunch of friends that you can go to. I would
Yeah.
say, like, as I've gotten older and I've had a full-time job, it's been harder to get with my friends.
Uh,
And like I said, I think the phones and everything have inherently just made us a lot more lazy,
sure.
where people don't want to get out and do things like they used to.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like I have a friend that from high school, and we have usually one day a week we get together and we play games, and that is like our time to spend time and hang out. So I don't know if that could be an option where maybe once a month, since it is so hard for you guys,
Hmm.
to get together and meet up, whether that's for lunch, coffee, or dinner.
Yeah. I mean, with a lot of my friends last year, I started planning like once a month, like these friend gatherings, and we did that for a while, and then it kind of slowed down around the holidays.
Sure.
But even like on Friday night, we went out for Dakota's birthday, and there's a part of me, because I don't do it that often
Uh huh.
anymore. Going into it, I'm like, man, I'm getting kind of anxious. I'm like, how's it going to go? There was a lot of people on the party bus that I didn't know.
Uh
I knew
huh.
Dakota, I knew our friend Joey, and then our friend Kennedy, although I didn't know Kennedy was going. Um, but because I don't do it on a frequent basis, I get like a little bit anxious going
Sure.
into it. I'm like, oh my God, human interaction, that's kind of hard.
Would you say you're an introvert?
I don't know. I think we all are a little bit of both.
Sure.
I used to think that I was a very big extrovert. And then, when I started working at Anytime Fitness, being a personal trainer and having to interact with so
Sure.
many people throughout the week, I was like, maybe I'm more introverted. Like, don't get me wrong. I love interacting with people, I love having deep conversations, but I think constant interaction with human beings, that drains me at some
Oh,
point.
for
And
sure.
I saw that, like, I work Monday through Friday, and then I'd have the weekends off. And like the desire that I had on the weekends was to just like not do
Veg
anything,
out and not do that. Yeah.
just socially recharge.
Uh huh.
So I don't know. I'm probably a little bit of both.
I would say so.
What about you?
I would agree. I'm probably both, but I would say I'm more of an extrovert than I am introvert.
Mm.
So, but I am like the Energizer Bunny. I can go until I don't need much sleep, like 4 hours, and I'm good.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jeez. My
Yeah.
goodness.
I mean, it will eventually catch up a little bit, but yeah, tops maybe 6.
Mm.
So,
So if you're both, like, when do you get tired of extroversion? When do you
um,
when do you get tired of like
mine
interacting with people?
it'd probably be in the evenings. Like that is my time to recharge. But I also want to stay up because I'm also a night owl. I could stay up until midnight, 1 o'clock, and then I could be up by 5 a.m. to hit the gym.
Jeez.
So yeah,
That's a quick turnaround.
yeah, it's not healthy.
Well,
It's not. I know that, but It's just how I've been.
Yeah.
So
Well, they also say, I don't know if there's truth to this, but they say like as people get older, but I think of like older populations of people, they say that you need less sleep as you get older. I'm like, is that true?
mm.
But like grandparents and whatnot, they're always bragging about how they only
Well,
need like
they
five or
take
six
little
hours.
naps during the day, don't they?
Yeah, they
I don't
probably
know.
do. You know, just lay on the sofa or something, or like on the couch, take like a 10-minute power nap, and then they're ready to go. But then the general recommendation for people is to get 7 to 9 hours
Yeah,
of sleep a night. I'm
that
like,
no,
nine
I can't do
hours?
that.
I couldn't do 9.
Daylight save, like no, I couldn't do it.
No. I know we've talked a lot in our sessions about people pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
You have said to me that you struggle with people pleasing. Is that also something with age? Does that get better? Do you always fall victim to people
I think it's
pleasing?
gotten better now that I've like recognized it and it's out there and people know that, you know? And I like to think that I am still working on that. There are situations where I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do that, but I'll do it. So yeah, it's a work in progress also.
Mm-hmm.
Like a revolving door.
Where does it come from? Childhood?
Uh-huh, for sure.
What made you a people pleaser back in childhood?
I think my dad is a people pleaser, and so I think I just seen it growing up. I'm very much like him when it comes to certain things. And I mean, he would give you the shirt off your back. And yeah, I hate saying no. Like internally, I hate saying no, but I know I need to say no. But it's hard. It's hard to verbalize that
Yeah.
because I don't want to make you upset or them upset, or you know what I mean? Because then it eats me alive inside.
Yeah, you're speaking to the choir. Saying no at times feels like you're going to war.
Yeah, yeah,
Internally, you feel like
yeah.
you're going to
And
war.
it eats
And
at me for hours until like I have to just get over it.
yeah. And I don't, maybe you experienced this as well, but something that I noticed inside of myself, like when I'm people pleasing, I find that, like, say, like in a conversation or an interaction with somebody, I hate silence. Like, I will fill the gap. I will respond immediately. And it's like, it's that anxious type of like people pleasing energy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like so many times, like in personal training, it's just like this impulse. And I feel like I can't control it where I'm listening to somebody talk and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're like, shit. It's like, stop doing that. And I feel like at times it's like, it's uncontrollable. And that's a major sign of people pleasing. And yeah, throughout my life, especially my adult life, like it's gone back and forth. There's times where I could say like, I wasn't people pleasing at all. And if you're able to get away, like you could still be a kind, loving person without people pleasing. And when you stop people pleasing, you start to really figure out who you authentically are. And it's like scary sometimes to like put your real opinion out there.
Uh-huh.
I think for me, like going back to childhood, like I could just look at my dad and be like, he was this really loud, angry individual and he terrified me as a kid. And so I feel like I was always afraid to express
Uh-huh.
myself or like let that out.
That was
Cuz
my
still
mom.
at this age in my life at
Yeah.
times it's like, "Oh my god, like I don't I
Uh-huh.
don't want to put myself out there like that." So it's just easier to agree with
Agree.
people. But at
Uh-huh.
the end of the day,
Uh-huh.
like you don't feel better about
No.
yourself because you're like,
Because you're the one that is hurting yourself in the long run,
yeah.
for sure. It sucks.
It does.
It does.
How do you think? Obviously, like you said it's gotten better with age. What do you think somebody could do to like overcome people pleasing
Um,
entirely?
Try to be consistent with it, I feel like, because then it'll just get easier and easier, right? I would think.
How do you be consistent with it?
If you feel that feeling of like, no, I don't want to do that, then follow through with, no, I don't want to do that.
Hmm.
is how I would.
Do you ever use like Chat GPT or whatever?
Sometimes.
What do you use it for? Like always the same thing or like a
Um,
bunch of different things?
it was for soccer, my kids' soccer stuff,
Oh, okay.
like posters.
Oh,
But I mean, I don't use it. I know some people use it for therapy and like to write papers and whatever else.
yeah.
Like, but no, I don't use it for all that. I
I
don't pay for it either, so it's limited.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of that question in my head because like we're talking about people pleasing and like at first I was really skeptical of it and just like AI in general because I'm really fearful that if we don't have certain parameters around AI that
Oh
it's going
yeah,
to take
no,
over the
it
world.
is. It's going
Yeah,
to.
it's kind of like
It's fed
social.
by water. It's going to. We're gonna be done with.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like social media. Is when social media got introduced, is like we didn't realize what it was going to turn
Sure.
into.
And
Like
now look
it's
at
it's
it.
it's obviously like parts of it. It can be a
Be good.
positive
Yeah.
tool, but it what it has morphed into in 2026 is it is completely it's warping people's minds,
Uh-huh.
changing them psychologically, and so I feel like we need those same parameters with AI, and I'm not sure that that's going to happen. Like I feel like it's just going to take over.
Uh-huh.
But what I will say is it's kind of like with the phones, like if you don't embrace the change, then you get left behind because that's where business is going. And so
Uh-huh.
it's like you're trying to use the AI, you're trying to utilize it so you understand the technology. So I started doing it like with my job and like in my personal life, and I was just testing it out and whatnot. And so, for instance, like struggling with an issue like people pleasing, you put this prompt in AI, and if you can give it more context, the
It'll give you
better.
more. You're right.
But
Did you
the
put that in there?
recently I
What did
did
it say?
it breaks it down like step by step. It's encouraging, and the more that you've used the software, it remembers every conversation you've had. It remembers every doubt you've had, every fear you've had, and so it pulls all of that old information and it'll really talk you like off the ledge. The unfortunate thing is if somebody really struggles with people pleasing or like self doubt, I feel like you have to use it on a regular basis. But like some of the advice that it would give me is like, okay, you're fearful of giving your honest opinion because somebody might disagree with you or it might turn into an argument. It's like, okay, instead of going out there and just pounding your chest right away, like you can't make that transformation in one day, just like you can't lose all that weight in one
Mm-hmm.
day. It's like try practicing like in a 7-day span, one moment throughout your day, say something of honest thought, even if it's really small, even if it's one sentence. If someone's like, hey, can you do that, Cole? No, I can't do that. And then shut up. And then don't justify it. Because what
Uh-huh.
do people pleasers do? They
They
justify.
have to explain themselves,
They're like, oh
yeah.
my God, this is why I said no. It's like, no, like just say it. Like, no is a complete sentence. It's one word and it's a complete
And it's so
sentence.
hard to say.
I know.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, but the advice that it gives is like, okay, like that is so much more practical. But again, it comes down to, okay, so we're constantly distracted by everything. And like, this is my inspiration to get off a lot of social media so I can have that reminder, like go back to that conversation that I had with Chat GBT and then just initiate one of those things each and every day. And that would provide a lot more clarity. And if you can do that in a 7-day span, that's not asking much of the individual. And if you complete that throughout a 7-day span, you're going to feel more confident about yourself.
Sure.
You're going to feel like less of a people pleaser. And, there was a time back in 2021, that summer, where I kind of did the same thing. I had gotten off of most of social media except for Instagram, and I was not on the dating apps. And I feel like for 4 months during that summer, it was like May to like September. I always tell people, I feel like I went through this like spiritual transformation. Again, social media can be used as a tool, but it really distracts us. And
Uh-huh.
there's so many things that I could go into. My mind is like firing off like pistons right now. Like there's a thing called context switching, and we all do it. When you get on your phone and you're like, oh, I'm just going to check a text.
Uh-huh.
You check the text,
And then you go
and
to
then you go to
Target.
email, and then you go to Instagram, and
Uh-huh.
then you go to Snapchat, and then you go look at a song. That's another thing that I ran through Chat GPT here recently. That is turning your brain into literal mush.
Mush.
Mush. And it doesn't allow us to focus. It doesn't allow us to get into these deep conversations. How many people do you see now out in public? If you do strike up a conversation, it goes absolutely nowhere. It's like surface level. It's like we've forgotten how to do it because we've conditioned ourselves
And I think the
into all of
generation,
these unhealthy patterns.
yeah.
So I started with this initial question of ChatGPT. I'm sorry, that went everywhere. Feel free to intervene wherever you want to.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like the generation that is rising is like, let's say at a restaurant, for example, they're waitress, waiter, and they're just lazy, and it's mind-boggling to me. And I pray that I can raise my kids not to be lazy when it comes to it at the end of the day.
Yeah. Or I'll give you another example on Friday because we went out for Dakota's birthday. So we're on the party bus and we went to like 3 different locations. So the first stop was at Ricochet downtown. I'd never been there before. Second bar was in Elkhart. I forget what it's called. And then the third one, I'm not sure where we were at, but we were in some college town because it looked like a bunch of students that were piling in. So maybe we were by Drake.
Yeah.
Maybe we were in Ames.
That's way.
I don't know where we were because I know when we were in the bus, we did drive by Ames. We drove by Jack Trice Stadium. I'm like, holy fuck, we're in Ames right now. Anyways, we're at the last stop, and my friend Joey, he's pretty drunk. I don't drink, so I was maybe one of the few that was stone cold sober. So it's fun to watch everybody else get like super fucked up. But we're leaving the last stop. Joey's engaged to Erin, and she's a beautiful person. She wasn't there that night. Me and Joey are walking out to get on the bus, and Joey, we see all of these college chicks that are like coming into the bar, and so Joey's like, he's like, hey, ladies, like my friend over here, isn't he super handsome? Like pointing to me. He's like, he's such a nice guy, isn't he handsome? And then like the first girl, she's like, I can't really comment because I'm lesbian. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, you don't count. But then he keeps saying it to girls, and there's these girls outside, and one girl's like, oh yeah, like he's super handsome. And then when I make eye contact with her, she's got like she fucked up her arm somehow, so she had one of those braces on to like prop it up. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what happened to your arm? And then her immediate response was, oh, we're not looking to have a long conversation here. Like basically like hike it up and keep walking. I'm like, you said I was handsome. I asked you a question,
And
not
then
knowing.
you just be rude.
And then it's like, fuck you.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it's a sign of the younger generations because she's got to be what, like 18, 19, 20, 21, somewhere in there.
Sure.
And you see all of these girls online that complain about where's all the good men and why won't guys approach me anymore? Well, it's like examples like that. I'm not saying all women are like that, but do you think that encourages me?
Not at all.
Do you think that encourages men or do you think that discourages men? And so you're talking about, younger generations and how they can be lazy and they can be lazy in conversations and just like borderline rude and like basically if somebody's in front of them, not even paying attention that they're there. It's so
or just not thinking about others around them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we're all addicted to our phones to a degree, but like all of us can run this test right now where you're out in public, say like, at Anytime Fitness up in Norwalk, the amount of times where I'm out on the purple turf at that desk and I stop what I'm doing and I look out on the gym floor, the amount of people say like in between their sets that are just looking at their phone.
What are they looking at though?
Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be social media, they could be texting, but it just pulls us in and it's changed human behavior.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not doing that when I'm doing that at the gym anyways. That is my time. And I am it's like changing my music or what is the next set I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Would you say, because you said earlier, you're like, yeah, like at nighttime, like spending too much time on the phone. Is there anything on your phone that gets you hooked? That's
yeah,
kind of
my
like a
my
vice.
games. I play Monopoly Go,
Okay.
and that's probably the one game I do play. Like right now, anyways. I go in phases. I feel like with games,
Mm,
and then but then yeah, I just scroll. Like I don't ever really use TikTok a whole lot, but I have as of recently.
mm,
But I don't have Snapchat. I have Instagram and obviously Facebook, but otherwise, that's it. It's just scrolling,
mm-hmm.
mindless scrolling. Or recipes. I'll look up recipes for foods. Just try something different.
Why do you think here recently TikTok has gotten you hooked?
I have more free time. That's why. So, what
Well, and
else do
that
you do?
the TikTok algorithm is super powerful because
Uh
if you
huh.
watch one type of video, then your whole algorithm is
Uh-huh,
like
is all
those
that.
types of videos.
Uh-huh,
And I will
yeah.
say, there's some funny stuff on
Oh, yeah.
TikTok. Like
The
I
other
had it.
night.
It took me a while before I got TikTok. I think I got it in like 2023,
Uh-huh.
and then I only had it for 3 years, and I was like, you know what? I'm fucking done. Because then at the end of it, I was really just using it to promote the YouTube channel and the podcast. But I don't know. I feel this calling in like 2026 to just get away from
Social media.
most of that stuff. Like I
Yeah.
said, I don't know why I like Instagram. I don't
Well,
mind
there's not
Instagram.
like drama on Instagram. You're not like reading people's posts. Like, you know what I mean? It's mainly just photos. Sure, you have the reels, but you know,
Yeah.
I like it for that.
There's divisive stuff on there. There's political content, but a lot of what's in my feed is like football stuff, like basketball, like music, because I'm a huge music nerd, skateboarding, all the pro like skateboarders that I follow. So like, yeah, I see some of those stuff, but yeah, it's not like Facebook. Like when I get on Facebook, and I don't have a ton of friends, I probably have like over 200. It feels like a lot of times it's like every other post is something politically driven, something
That
about
or
culture.
negative, or it's like a competition with some people. At least that's what I see with friends. Like, oh, I went on this nice vacation or I bought this car. You know what I mean? And it's like, why? Why has this world and society come to like that?
Because we keep giving into it.
Uh-huh.
And like the phone and social media technology, like it is super powerful and it's super influential and it's
Uh-huh.
easy to get hooked, but people forget to realize that like you still have autonomy. If I was able to spend those 4 months back in 2021 in large part like really off of social media, and then even after those 4 months, like I still only had Instagram. It was probably 2023 I got back on Snapchat, and then it was last year is when I got back on Facebook. We forget that we have so much autonomy to change the course of our lives. Yes, it's powerful. Yes, it's addicting, but you can get off of it.
Uh-huh.
And I guarantee it'll make your life feel tremendously better.
Uh-huh.
It's just in the beginning because we spend so much time scrolling and whatnot. You're like,
And
well,
it's
what the hell am I going to do with
a
this extra
habit.
free time?
Yeah.
It's like, well, so for you, like you realized at some point, oh, like I need to take care of my health. I need to take care of my fitness.
Uh-huh.
Same thing, even if you're somebody that already does that, say you get off your phone, maybe now you start reading, maybe now you start meditating, maybe you
Mm-hmm.
start journaling, maybe you start spending more time with your family, maybe you reach out to friends that you haven't talked to in a while. Like you'll fill the gap
Sure.
with something that is more meaningful.
Yeah.
It may just
And not
take a
so
second
mindless.
to figure it out.
For sure.
What, with your journey of losing weight, becoming healthier, what was there also a motivation of, like I want my kids to see
Oh, for
this?
sure. I didn't
Talk
want
about
my
that.
kids to have the fat parents because I was that's who I was, you know what I mean? And not that they ever, I mean they were pretty young, you know what I mean, when but they see pictures now and they're like, oh my gosh, you look like that. But I look at the pictures and I'm like, oh my God, I look like that. Like, because and maybe this is like, what do they call that? Like a placebo effect, or no, that's not the word. Um, where I didn't feel that big.
Hmm.
Like, yes, I was that big, but I didn't feel like I was that big. I didn't look in the mirror and think that,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. I and yeah, looking at pictures now, like I just had this conversation with my one friend the other day because she said the same thing. She's like, yeah, I can't, like, looking at pictures, I didn't believe I was that big. And I said, Christina, I know exactly what you mean. Like, I'm I know what you mean. I was in that same boat, and I hope to not ever go back to there again. So
I don't
for
think you will.
no, I don't think so either. So I just want to build more like muscle and like tone a little bit more, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with where I'm at.
Is there ever a moment now, because you're saying like I never want to go back, and like I think the fear for, I've never been in that case, like I've never had to lose like that amount of weight, but I could imagine, a lot of people talk about like body
Oh
dysmorphia,
yeah.
how a lot of women have it. I would say even men have it as well, probably also because all of
Uh-huh.
these unrealistic expectations of what we compare ourselves to on social media.
Uh-huh.
Do you sometimes, even with all the weight that you've lost, like do you look in the mirror and you still see
Yes.
previous Kendra and you're like,
Sometimes.
oh my God, you fat fucking lard. And it's
Oh
like,
my
that's
God, no, I never talked like that to myself.
okay, okay. Because I was gonna say, it's like that's what, like, I feel like people's minds, it would still have that conversation,
Like,
even though in reality you've lost all of this weight,
yeah.
but your mind still
I
like
will say
sees that previous
I
version.
seen a body dysmorphia TikTok the other day, and she said you need to type in the search engine what your height and weight is and see what you actually look like, because it's hard to look at yourself. And so I did that, and I was like, yeah, I see that, like, right? And but yeah, I still look at myself sometimes. I'm like, God, gross. Like, but I think that will always probably be, we're our own worst critic, and I think I'll always kind of think like that a little bit. But I never talk to myself like that either.
Thank goodness.
Um,
I would smack you in the face if you did. Say, do not talk to
no,
yourself like that.
no, that's mean.
It is,
But
but that's like,
I'm sure there are people that do think that and say that to themselves.
well, not even to that extent, but like, for me, like struggling with confidence and whatnot, and just having unrealistic expectations and just being really hard on myself. Like, the way that I try to describe it to people is like a lot of times, like in conversations with people, if I'm not doing well mentally, I am like the background of thoughts that are going on is I'm judging everything that I'm saying. So, not that that's like as harsh of a statement as like the example that I gave, but just like, you know you have all of these harsh criticisms of yourself, and you think that like people can notice that, or like people can see that,
Hmm.
and then every time I've admitted that out loud to people, they're like, man, I never would have thought that. They're like,
Yeah,
you just seem like a really cool, calm, collected, confident individual. And I'm like, there's like the analogy of like sitting duck, like
sure.
sitting duck anxiety. So if you look at a duck on the water, the top half is above the water floating. You're like, oh my
And then
God,
the
that
feet are like,
just, you're like, oh my God, it just looks so serene and so divine and so peaceful. But yeah, underneath the water, it's just the feet are
the
going like
feet
this. And
paddling,
that's the example that I would give for how
your brain
my
is.
brain works. Like,
Hmm.
it's a lot of times where it just won't slow down. But again, like this overarching conversation of getting away from social media, because I have found that when I am meditating on a regular basis and I am reducing my screen time, less distraction,
You're
it
more
is like
calm.
my brain becomes supercharged, and now you become super mindful and you can see your thoughts at a distance instead of all of the thoughts that are pouring in, and then you accept those thoughts as truth.
Hmm.
Because we all know at the end of the day, thoughts are just thoughts, but why do we give into our thoughts? When a thought pops up, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll immediately believe it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah. I feel like when I talk and have a conversation, a lot of times I will do the same thing, but I will rethink about the conversation hours later. I'm like, why did I say that? I should have said this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll probably do that with this whole conversation too.
Why? You're killing it. You're a
Not at
natural,
all.
dude. You need to start your
Not at all.
podcast.
Not at
You need
all.
to start your high podcast.
My podcast.
You'd be high as hell doing a podcast. That'd be amazing.
Someday.
Probably here soon. I would imagine.
I doubt it.
It's, yeah.
I have to move to Colorado.
Colorado. What other state? Is Illinois? Is that another
I think
state?
Illinois.
I think people can also go down
Minnesota, I
go
think.
down to Missouri and probably smoke.
Kansas City.
Yeah. You don't have to go too far.
Omaha.
You don't have to go to
I think
Colorado.
Omaha.
Why do you think you do that? Why do you think like later on after a conversation you go back and you analyze and you judge?
I don't know. I guess I've never really thought about it. I think because I feel like before I had kids, I was in that world of sales and with the public, and then that just stopped once I had kids, and it was just me and my baby. Like, and so then I felt like I didn't know anything about technology or anything, and that's what I was in, was technology. And now I feel stupid, you know? And now getting back into like the workforce and whatnot, I feel like I'm still learning. You know, I feel like I'm trying to catch up to what I've lost out on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I think of just again, you know, we'll be so harsh or so critical of ourselves, and it'll be times not even in like a dual podcast, but like if I do like a music reaction. And after it's done recording, I'm like, oh my God, that was terrible. Like it made no sense. Like I was like all over the place. And then when I go back and I watch it and I edit the footage, I'm like, oh my God, why are you tripping? It made sense. It's just that background conversation. It's just that narrative. It's just those negative beliefs that you have about yourself. But that's why I'm so passionate about meditation and reclaiming your focus, is because once you get the distance from your thoughts, you can speak more clearly in the situation and have the confidence in the separation. I don't know if everybody experiences it that way. Like the way I talk about meditation, like I always use.
Do you do it every day?
I do it every day in the morning for 20 minutes, and it should probably be longer, because obviously the longer that you do it, you're getting more exposure to it. But I always use the analogy of, think if you were sitting like there's a street over here and you and I are sitting on the sidewalk and we're watching the traffic go by. And the cars are basically our thoughts. And so you see the thoughts, or you see the cars like going by, but you're not bothered by it. You're not bothered by the noise. It's just like, oh, it appears and then it disappears. When
Why don't thoughts do that?
Well, they can. They have the potential, but we get so wrapped up in our thoughts. And so using that analogy is like when you're wrapped up in your thoughts, it's like you're running towards the traffic and you're chasing every single thought instead of just being like, that's just mental.
Just let it go. Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. There's a guided meditation app that I use called Waking Up. And so he talks a little bit, but then he gives you a lot of space to like just think and observe your thoughts. And I love how he describes all of this stuff. Like meditation is like at the end of the day, like all the thoughts, all the fears, all the worries, all the anxieties, all the emotions that you've ever experienced, it all starts in your mind. It's what has always happened. It will appear and then it disappears. All the worries that you had back in high school, let's say, you probably thought whatever the issue was, like, oh my God, this is the end of the world. These thoughts are never going to go away. And then with enough time, they go away.
Sure.
And so like we could reduce so much of our human suffering with that type of practice. Why do people become monks? Why do, like in, like Eastern cultures, like they practice this stuff. They practice meditation and they understand the importance, because otherwise We just
You're
have this
losing your
monkey
mind.
brain that jumps from branch to
Uh-huh.
branch to branch.
Yeah. I never thought of it like that.
Like when you're, I know you're saying that, like, after a conversation, you go back and you analyze what you said.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a conversation with somebody, what's your thought process like? Is there always thoughts that are going on in the background?
A little bit, but I feel like I process the conversation, like, and then I have to think about it, and then I can come back with like an answer or rebuttal or whatever it is. And that's how, like, and I don't know if that is something I learned that about myself in therapy or what. But yeah, it takes me a hot minute to process
Hmm.
what's being said. And then I feel like I come back and maybe that's like the people pleaser in me, to where, okay, like, yeah, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear, but then I'm going to come back and then I'm going to think about it. No, why did I say that? And then I'm going to come back to you and, hey, actually, I was thinking, and then lay it out. So,
Which I think that's healthy, right? Like that just shows me that you're somebody, again, with a lot of people that people please, is I think at the end of the day, they just really care.
uh huh.
So they don't want to offend people. They don't want to
Yeah.
make people upset. So I
Yes.
think it's a healthy practice that you like look at your conversations with people and you're like, well, I could have said it this
Uh
way.
huh.
I could have been more
Or I
honest
want to
about
choose my
that.
words carefully so like it's a soft blow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then, like, it's better for me, like my mental health, to say it that way or do it that way, because otherwise, I'm gonna be eating myself alive with it,
Yeah.
and
And
then
it's and
it's just
it's
unhealthy.
and it's also different in this context because this is your first time like doing a podcast, like being on camera. Like I think especially, when I first started and still doing it all of these years later is like there's that spike of anxiety and
Sure.
the camera's on and you're like, "Oh my God, people are going to watch this."
Well,
And so
I
like you're kind of like filtering the way you would say things.
sure.
But what I always notice, whether it's me doing a solo podcast or like what we're doing right now, the longer that you go into the conversation, it's like the two people get into more of a groove. And again, like the whole thing we've been saying this whole time, what we're losing, people having conversations like this.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the podcasts that I listen to, and people are going for 3 or 4 hours, which we don't have the luxury of going for that long.
Sure.
But like, and I could even say, when I was seeing my previous therapist, there was a few times where she would let me stay late, like after our session was over, because she had nobody behind me. So there was probably like 2 or 3 times where I was there for like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember those sessions were like the most profound because there is that natural like jitters and anxiety, but the longer that you go, it like
Or
levels
is
off
more
and it gets into a
natural.
groove. Why
Yeah.
do people listen to podcasts? It's like a dance. Uh, like conversations, it's like a back and forth. It's like a
Uh-huh.
give and take. It's like this natural pull. Unless there are people that try to win conversations, and it's like that's always baffled me. How are you going to
Yeah.
win a conversation? We're just talking.
But do you have friends where they want to be like, let's say it's you and I, and then we add someone else, and then they just overtake the conversation, and then we're just sitting here listening to them speak. Do you have a friend like that? Or at any point in time in your life, have you known anyone like that?
Yeah, I can't say because if I had a friend like that, they'd probably drive me fucking nuts, and I wouldn't be friends with them anymore. I can't say that I have any current friends like that, but yes, I have met people.
Yes.
I have worked with people like
Yes.
that,
I
and
work
it's
with several people that are like that, and I'm just like, I'm just on my break. I just like, can we just sit here in silence, please? I don't want to talk, but and I'll let you talk. You can talk all you want.
have you met people that also try to one up you in a
Yes.
conversation?
Yes.
What do you do when they do that? Is that where your people pleasing goes away and you're like, shut the
Oh
fuck
no, it
up,
it
bitch?
probably is. No, it's probably more. It's like heightened because I'm like, oh yeah, uh-huh. Oh yeah. Like I'm more into the conversation because I'm like, God, shut up. Yeah, it's not good.
I think I get in my head more in those conversations because I'm like, oh my God,
Is that believable?
you've been talking the whole time. I really don't want to put people on blast. I don't know if this girl will end up listening to this podcast or watching this podcast. Again, here recently, it was like 2 weekends ago, I went on a date, on a first
Uh-huh.
date. So we went to a coffee shop. And so one of our gym members at Anytime Fitness, I'm like acquaintances with.
Uh-huh.
I train her stepmom, and she is like roughly the same age as me. And so she like comes up to me in the gym one day and she's like, "Hey, I want to hook you up with my friend." I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure. I'm not dating anybody right now. Let's give it a shot. It can't hurt." So she gives me her friend's number, start texting, and then I figure out what her name is. So I go look her up on Facebook and Instagram, and turns out I had matched up with this girl on the dating apps like
Mhm.
3 years ago,
Mhm.
but we never met. We just talked for a little bit, and then it fell apart, like most things do on dating apps. And like I didn't even recognize her at first, but then when I saw like older pictures on her profiles, I'm like, oh, okay, now I kind of remember what she looks like. So we go on this first date, and we were there for probably 2.5 hours. And I'm really not trying to be rude, and maybe this is the part of the podcast that I edit out in case she does watch it, but like she talked about herself
The whole time.
the whole time. Now, I know in conversations I'm good at asking questions, like I said, inquisitive, like I'm curious. So that probably like allows the other person to do a lot more of the talking. But I would think in a first date setting,
You would want to know that, get to know the other person, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
eventually you're going to flip it around and you're going to ask me some questions. I'm just saying, like, I guess maybe this setting's different. Like I find myself at times talking about a lot of different things that I'm passionate about, so it's easy to talk about. But that introverted side of me, I don't like the focus being on me. I don't
Uh-huh.
like the attention being on me. If I was in a first date setting and I realized internally that I was talking for like 15 minutes straight, I would be like, okay, I think I'm talking a little bit too much. Maybe I'm not getting much of a response from her. How about I flip it around? That's what would go on in my
Uh-huh.
head. And so she asked me two questions, and it was like we were well into the conversation, and I was talking about how I had fucked up my back like a month ago because I was playing basketball. That was the topic that she had asked about. She asked like two like very small questions. And so I was getting pissed throughout this whole process. And I'm like, you're not asking me any questions. I guess I'm just going to have to talk about myself. And that doesn't feel comfortable or natural
Why?
unless somebody asks. I'm not,
I guess if you recognize it in someone else, like, if that they're talking a lot about themselves and you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So do you just continue to let them talk?
I let her talk for most of it, but I was
Yeah.
like, this is kind of frustrating. Like, why don't you ask any questions? So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to talk about myself. But it doesn't feel natural. I don't know. I guess if I'm feeling really good about myself, if I'm feeling
Do
really
you think that's
confident,
the, lack of confidence or
it
insecure?
it was in that situation, but it also wasn't, right? Because it is in a first date setting, it is common courtesy to have
Like banter back
a
and forth?
natural back and
Mm-hmm.
forth. And if somebody is constantly talking about themselves, I am going to get more in my head. Who
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't? You'd be just sitting there like, what do you say? How do you respond? How do you turn it around on you? It doesn't feel natural unless somebody is asking you some questions as well.
Sure.
And I just thought, that's crazy. She's 1 year older than me, so she's 30, about ready to turn 31.
31.
We were talking about the younger generations. I could see that happening with younger generations. And I don't know, she's probably a nice person, but I was
Rubbed
like,
you the wrong way?
well, there's no connection,
Oh,
right? Like, you
sure.
don't feel anything. You don't feel a
Well, it
spark.
doesn't make you feel anything if that's how it's going to go.
You don't seem interested in me. At least, like, in a first date setting, you got to at least pretend, right?
Sure. How
But,
did you leave it?
well, that's the funny thing, right? Because people can have a conversation, they can go on a first date and say if you and I were on a first date, we could have two completely different experiences.
Oh, for
So
sure.
she thought it was fun. She thought it
Oh,
was great. That's what she told
her friend?
her friend that I know at the gym. And so her friend comes up and talks to me after we went on that date, and I was like, yeah, dude, like I did not enjoy that at all. So we were supposed to go on a double date with the girl at the gym and then her
And her.
boyfriend, and I just didn't follow through. Okay,
You didn't ghost her, did you?
I did not ghost her,
You told her no.
but there were other things other than that were at play before we had met up, and we were texting back and forth. Like I said, I try not to be on my phone. I try not to be married to it religiously, like not on my phone. You know me, I'm terrible at texting back.
Yeah, you are.
And so the last message that I had sent to her over text, it had been like 3 hours. Okay, so she responds to my last text. 3 hours or so goes by. She sends another text. Some hours go by, some time goes by, and then she sends 3 more texts. So in total, it was 5 texts back to back. I was like, that's a little crazy. That's a little crazy pants.
Do you think it's crazy because you haven't been in a relationship? You know what I mean? For, I don't know when the last relationship you were in, or,
Maybe. I guess I don't think I would double text somebody. To me, it seems it could potentially be a little bit of an insecurity on her part. And
sure.
and this goes for guys and for girls. I don't know why, say you're in a relationship or you're talking to somebody, why would you, like throughout the day, why would you want to go back and forth over text? I don't have, even though I'm not great at responding over text with work and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do
You don't have
that.
the time to.
Like when I'm at work, I put my phone away and I focus on clients,
Uh-huh.
and so some men and some women are like, no, like we got to be talking like all throughout the
Oh,
day.
yeah.
I'm
No.
not saying she's like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when I did send her a text back, I would get a response immediately, which to
Well,
me,
I think that, I don't know.
that could show interest, but that could also be insecurity.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, I got to respond right away. Oh,
Right
I
away.
finally got the
Or it could
response.
be a trauma thing, like, in past relationships where, why didn't you reply back?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think it's, what was my thought when you were talking? Um, where you weren't that interested, so you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna
That was,
reply back right away because I
yeah,
really don't care.
yeah, that was part of it. Like as time went on, I was like, man, I'm not super interested in this, and so like, yeah, I'm just not going to respond. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, that's just like to me, that's kind of unattractive. I would think a girl would also feel that way if a guy was like, like he responds like right away, or if then she didn't say this in her next text, like, hey, why aren't you responding? But it is kind of like that nervous, anxious, like attached energy. Not saying she was attached, but she also did say something at the coffee shop where I was kind of like, I don't know why you would say that. And maybe she didn't mean anything by it, but because we had matched on the dating app 3 years ago,
Does she remember you
she
from
doesn't,
that?
she remembers me vaguely. But again, we never met up in person.
Yeah.
But something she said at the coffee shop, she's like, like I'm just a firm believer in things happening for a reason and people being brought back together. I just felt like for making a statement like that, I was like, that kind of puts pressure on this, doesn't
This whole
it?
situation, yeah.
Yeah, like again,
I'm a
maybe
believer.
that's not what she was insinuating.
Yeah.
I was just
Well,
like,
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know.
think she was definitely interested. It sounds
Yes,
like it.
yes,
And I'm a believer in like everything happens for a reason for sure, to an extent.
I agree.
But what that reason may be, we may never know. But maybe it did happen for a reason to, know that you're not into it,
Yeah,
you know?
confirmed non-interest.
Not that you were thinking of that.
No,
I don't know. But
yeah,
sorry,
so,
the dating world is awful.
so tough.
So
It's so tough. I don't know where to turn to. I don't do dating apps,
you
at
don't
least
go
not right
out.
now.
You don't go to bars. You don't want to meet someone in a bar.
No, not a part of the bar life. I don't know. What would be your advice? Where do I go?
I don't know. I don't do any of that.
Come on.
And I work with pretty much all women.
I actually had like an old coworker, and I think because she was so fed up, she actually did go on a date with a girl. I don't even think they hugged. I don't think they kissed or anything, but just by going on a date, she's like, nope, I'm into dudes.
Yeah. No, I don't know that I could ever do that.
you have a much different perspective than say like the perspective that I have because I've never
Sure.
been married,
Right.
haven't gone through that process of like being married and getting divorced. And so not that I feel like desperate, but then it goes back to the conversation of like societal expectations and oh, I feel like I got to be married and having
Uh-huh.
kids by the time I'm 30. So it's like that's desperately what I want. Like I
Yeah.
want to find that person, but I could also see how somebody's mindset would change after going through it. Say if like the divorce was brutal,
Mhm.
if it was nasty, and maybe in that initial time afterwards, you're like, well, of course, I ain't looking for anything right now. I have to
Uh-huh.
process what the hell happened.
Yeah.
I got to form a better image of myself. I got to have some of that confidence rebound. But you're right. I mean, a lot of it is predicated on a feeling. Like you could
Yeah.
say that parts of falling in love with somebody is a logical game, but I don't think it's super logical. I think it's emotional.
For
You
sure.
feel it.
And I want to feel it. Like I guess rewriting my story is how I would like to say. And I want to be able with that next person build a foundation with them and not have them meet my kids for like a good year. And well, maybe 6 months to a year, but like I want that like I'm going to like treasure that, you know what I mean? And know that I have something good there and then we can build from there
Mm-hmm.
and hope that he's okay with kids.
Well, if it's the
But
right person, then he's
yeah.
gonna be okay with kids.
Yeah.
Because
So,
like when you fully put yourself back out there and try to find somebody, that will be a hurdle for you,
yeah.
right? Like I know people, I know guys like close to my age, and say like they're on the dating apps and they see a girl like her profile and she's got kids. I know guys that are immediately like, nope,
Yeah.
not messing with that.
Or
And I'm
like
like,
that's baggage and it's like,
and it's like it can, but it also might not, right?
uh-huh.
Like again, if it's the right person and it's the right feeling and the right circumstances, I would do that.
Uh-huh.
Maybe because we all have like this plan in our head of like how our life is
Yeah.
gonna unravel. You think, oh yeah, in a perfect world, uh, me like I don't have kids right now. I'm gonna find a girl that doesn't have kids. Well, what if the girl that I find does?
Uh-huh.
Am I really gonna let that pull me back
Uh-huh.
from like something potentially great? So that could be an extra hurdle for you. But I
Yeah.
think the right person would walk in and immediately accept that.
Yeah.
And also respect your boundaries of like, hey, I don't want you to meet the kids right away.
Uh-huh.
I
Well, I
agree
would
with
hope.
that.
Yeah.
Because I had one girl in particular that I dated back in 2020, and she had a boy, and she wanted me to meet him like right away. She
Yeah.
wanted me to be stepdaddy right away.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't ready to be stepdaddy. What the fuck?
Yeah. No.
Stepdaddy Cole.
I definitely wait for quite some time. I was ready to be a mom. I've wanted to be a mom since I was like 2.
Yeah.
Like I swear. But I have come to realize that the fancy house, the car, like none of that matters. You know what I mean? And that doesn't make me happy. Sure, money's great, but it's not everything, you know? And I'm not like, yes, I like nice things, don't get me wrong, but it's not like that doesn't bring me true happiness. So I feel like I'm trying to figure that out is what makes me happy, you know?
Yeah. That's the age old question that we're all trying to
Uh huh.
solve. And if you can figure out what that thing is, you can be a lot more happy and fulfilled and satisfied in life.
Mhm.
Because that's been part of the conversation that's been going on in my head for the last year, like the money thing
Uh
and
huh.
making more money, going off to a different career, getting a different job, and thinking you have to make a certain amount of money because like that determines your value. And
In life
yes,
and
like
worth.
yes, we do need
Yeah.
money, and I think probably everybody out there would admit to themselves they want to make more money. I don't
Sure.
think that's bad to admit, but then like getting attached to that and
And
then
changing
and
your
then
whole.
and putting all of your happiness and fulfillment on that, like I feel like, and maybe this is the conclusion that I'm starting to come to, but I feel like the trials and the tribulations of this last year, a lot of that, mm, a lot of that, I guess, unhappiness that I was experiencing, I could have taken it off the table if I wasn't so focused on the money thing. Because it, like in the instance of being a personal trainer and working with people, it's like the reason that I've stuck with it with all of the challenges is because I love helping people, and
Mhm.
you lose the
You feel
focus of that because you're so focused on the money,
uh-huh.
or like, I'm not making enough right now. It's like, okay, well, you're still young, dude. You're very new to the workforce. Most people don't get their highest paying job right out of college, and so you miss the blessings. Like, you miss
Uh-huh.
the things that truly matter: the connection with your kids,
Mhm.
finding the right partner, my connection with my clients, the impact that I'm providing for people,
Mhm.
the value that I bring to the table. Like, I want, like, when I pass away, I want people that I knew in my life to just like speak highly of me. And
Uh-huh.
I think that means you left a pretty good mark.
Impression, yeah.
Yeah, on this
Mhm.
world.
I agree.
Well, we've been going for almost an hour and a half.
Oh, Jesus.
We're gonna I'm gonna end it with one question for you.
Okay.
Okay, so just because I'm about ready to turn 29, almost entering my 30s, think back to Kendra when she was turning 29. Okay, so you were starting to have
29.
kids at this point.
Well, I wanted to have my last baby at age 30, and
Okay,
I did that.
you did.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so take me back to 29-year-old Kendra, and anything that you were struggling with back then, any type of like frustrations that you were having in your life. What is one piece of advice or wisdom or one lesson that you wish you could have learned back then that would have taken away a lot of the frustration that you were experiencing at that age? What's something that you wish you knew now, or you wish you knew back then, that you could have applied to your life, and it would have taken away a lot of that frustration if you were experiencing any at
I
29?
do. I think take the leap. Of my advice to you would be take the leap of faith of whatever comes your way and see where life will take you.
Okay, profound advice, simple but profound. I think that's a great way to end the podcast. Kendra, thank you for coming on and
Thanks.
giving your time, talking about your story, all this fun things that we talked about. Um, I know you are like active on social media. Like, where can people find you? Because you make posts about
Yeah, but I
your
feel like I
journey.
haven't been active as much with it.
Oh shit, you're gonna have to get active again.
I know.
Where can people find you?
I am on TikTok and I'd say Instagram, those two for sure.
Okay, and
Uh,
they have the same handle.
yeah, yeah.
What is it? Say it in the camera.
Empower Her Wellness.
Power Her Wellness. Okay, guys, go
Thanks.
follow her, support her journey, and thanks for tuning in.